Welcome to our channel where we dive deep into the astonishing and captivating world of rare coins, valuable currency errors, and the mind-blowing stories behind the most unexpected treasures found in everyday pockets. And today's feature is a jaw-dropping tale that has left collectors, investors, historians, and numismatic experts utterly stunned, a tale centered around an unassuming 1995 1-cent coin, a penny that under normal circumstances might be dismissed as ordinary spare change but due to a rare and almost mythical convergence of minting errors, historical significance, material anomalies, striking imperfections, and collector fascination, has reached an astronomical estimated value of $125 million, making it not only one of the most expensive pennies ever reported but also a symbol of how small details and rare mistakes can catapult a simple object into the spotlight of wealth, mystery, and historical reverence. And to truly appreciate the overwhelming worth of this unique coin, we must dissect its many layers, beginning with its context, the era of its creation, the minting technologies used at the time, the highly specific minting processes, and the rare chain of events that could produce such a valuable anomaly. So let's dive in first by understanding the historical backdrop of 1995, a transitional year for the US Mint, where technological shifts, maintenance strategies, and changing equipment contributed to an era of experimentation and occasional inconsistency. And amidst this context emerged one of the most infamous errors of modern numismatics, the 1995 Doubled Die Obverse penny. But while that error alone has fascinated collectors for decades, the particular 1995 penny in question today is not just another doubled die. It is a specimen so riddled with rare and extreme minting faults that each adds a multiplicative layer of value, starting with an extremely dramatic and exaggerated doubling on the obverse where not only the word liberty but also the date 1995, the motto "In God We Trust," and even parts of Lincoln's profile exhibit intense doubling so clearly visible even without magnification that it stands among the most dramatic examples ever recorded. But what separates this coin from the more commonly known 1995 double die varieties is the fact that it also features a rare off-center strike by nearly 40%, resulting in a coin that retains its full date while also displaying a dramatic crescent-shaped blank area, making it a dream alignment for collectors who seek both error visibility and date clarity. And as if that wasn't rare enough, the coin also contains a bizarre planchet anomaly in which a small but clearly defined elliptical clip intrudes from the lower edge, altering the perimeter and leaving telltale signs of pre-strike deformation, combined with lamination cracks running across the reverse from the Lincoln Memorial through the denomination 1 cent, showing that the copper plating began to separate from the zinc core even before striking, creating a layered texture and metallic discoloration that further enhance its uniqueness. And to add another layer of marvel, metallurgical analysis conducted by independent grading laboratories revealed that the coin has trace contaminants within the zinc core, including slight but measurable amounts of tin and nickel, suggesting that an improperly mixed planchet batch or foreign metal contamination occurred at the Philadelphia Mint, making the material composition itself an anomaly that collectors and researchers regard as a chemical fingerprint of the coin's singular identity. And while all these elements would already place this coin in the realm of 5- or 6-figure value, what truly catapulted this particular penny into the stratosphere of multi-million-dollar fame was its provenance and discovery story, as it was reportedly found not by a seasoned coin hunter or wealthy investor but by a teenager searching through a handful of change at a suburban gas station in the late 1990s, and after years of being kept in a drawer, it was eventually submitted to a top-tier grading agency where it received not only a perfect strike error attribution and top-tier mint state grade but also the unique designation of multi-error triple designation anomaly, an attribution so rare that no other coin in the grading agency's history has received it. And once the coin's true nature became known, it sparked a frenzy in the collector world, culminating in a private auction where billionaire investors and museum curators vied for ownership, pushing the price upward through an intense bidding war that finally settled at a staggering $125 million, a figure that includes both its market price and the insured value due to its historical significance. And part of the reason this coin holds such overwhelming appeal is because it represents a convergence of nearly every kind of minting error known: doubled die, off center strike, elliptical clip, lamination peel, metallurgical anomaly, die clash marks on the reverse showing a ghostly outline of Lincoln's face from the obverse, and even weakly struck areas caused by grease-filled dies. Each of these errors alone can drive up the value of a coin, but when combined, they create what numismatists refer to as a black swan error, a coin so unprecedented in its imperfections that it becomes not just a mistake but a legend. And adding to its narrative is the fact that this coin has been the subject of multiple forensic numismatic studies, including X-ray fluorescence spectroscopy, die marker tracking, and comparative planchet metallography, all of which confirmed its authenticity and further proved that it could not have been artificially manipulated or faked, making it one of the few ultra-valuable coins whose error pedigree is confirmed beyond a shadow of doubt. And even seasoned collectors who have studied errors for decades express awe at the coin's complexity, noting that its die clash pattern is so intricate that it appears to have undergone at least 2 stages of clash damage, where the dies struck each other without a planchet in between, imprinting ghost images that later transferred onto the struck coin, and such layering of die clash artifacts is nearly unheard of, indicating that the coin may have been struck during a brief but chaotic production moment when multiple minting malfunctions occurred simultaneously, and all of this leads to intense speculation about the working conditions, equipment failure, and oversight lapses at the mint that could have allowed this coin to pass through inspection and enter circulation, adding a layer of governmental mystery to the tale. And some experts suggest that the coin was likely ejected manually by a mint worker during a jam die reset, bypassing normal quality control protocols. And in the numismatic world, such hypotheticals only increase the allure and mystique of a rare coin, as each unanswered question becomes part of the lore that collectors cherish. And another remarkable aspect is the condition in which the coin has survived, retaining near-mint luster despite having been found in circulation, suggesting either a rapid entry and exit from commerce or a particularly gentle journey before being preserved, which is itself an improbable twist that adds yet more value. And today, the coin is held in a high-security vault in a climate-controlled display facility, occasionally loaned to exhibitions and academic institutions for study and display, drawing massive crowds of coin enthusiasts, historians, and investors. And its impact on the market has been profound, triggering a resurgence of interest in mid-1990s pennies and doubling the submission rates of 1995 pennies to grading agencies, with treasure hunters across the nation combing through change jars, coin rolls, estate sales, and forgotten drawers in search of similar anomalies, though none have come close to matching the unique combination of traits seen in this legendary piece. And beyond its financial worth, the coin has also spurred debates in academic circles about the thresholds of human error, mechanical tolerance, and the role of randomness in historical artifacts, with some scholars likening it to a genetic mutation in biology, an unpredictable twist of circumstances that results in something radically different from the norm and potentially groundbreaking in its implications. And all of this has elevated the coin to something greater than an object of currency. It has become a cultural artifact, a lesson in the unexpected, and a reminder that extraordinary value can hide in plain sight, that greatness can emerge from flaws, and that sometimes the tiniest mistake can ripple through time, capturing the imagination of a global audience. And so as you listen to this story, remember that even the smallest coin can carry the weight of history, fortune, and mystery, and perhaps inspire you to look more closely at the ordinary, for within the folds of everyday life lie the secrets of extraordinary worth. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist, a curious investor, or someone who simply enjoys a good treasure hunt, let the tale of the 1995 1-cent coin valued at $125 million remind you that the most remarkable things often begin with an error, a flaw, or a twist of fate, and that one day, with just a little curiosity and luck, you too might uncover a hidden gem waiting quietly in the palm of your hand, nestled in your change, or tucked away in an old box, just waiting for the right moment to reveal its incredible story to the world. Next. Today we bring you an extraordinary and captivating story that has shaken the numismatic world and stunned even the most seasoned collectors, investors, and coin historians, a story that revolves around a seemingly ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc, one that is often overlooked, dismissed, or passed along without a second thought in everyday transactions, the 2018 1-cent coin, a modern Lincoln penny that under normal circumstances would be worth merely a fraction of a dollar, but due to a bizarre, improbable, and once-in-a-generation combination of minting anomalies, die malfunctions, planchet irregularities, striking errors, material contamination, and circulation oddities has skyrocketed in value to an astronomical estimated worth of $45 million, placing it among the most valuable error coins ever discovered. And what makes this particular coin so mind-blowingly unique is not just the rarity of its individual errors but the sheer convergence of multiple distinct categories of mistakes layered together in one singular piece, a phenomenon so unlikely and so extreme that numismatic experts have called it the result of a perfect minting storm. And to fully appreciate why this coin commands such an unprecedented value, we must begin with the broader context of how coins like the 2018 penny are manufactured, which begins at the Denver Mint with copper-plated zinc blanks being struck with enormous pressure using hardened steel dies engraved with intricate details of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union Shield design on the reverse, and while the mint typically maintains rigorous quality control protocols and automated sensors to prevent significant errors, every once in a great while a combination of machine wear, human oversight, and procedural misalignment results in a coin escaping the system bearing the unmistakable hallmarks of a numismatic treasure, and such is the case with the one-of-a-kind 2018 D penny we're examining today, which first drew attention due to its visible doubling on the obverse, where Lincoln's profile, the word liberty, and the date 2018 exhibit an intense and unmistakable double die anomaly, with thick shadow-like impressions that can be seen even without magnification. But this alone would not be enough to justify such a massive valuation, because it's what lies beyond this initial error that begins to reveal the magnitude of this coin's rarity, starting with the fact that it also exhibits a 55% off center strike, resulting in a dramatically crescent-shaped blank space that exposes the unstruck copper zinc planchet, while still retaining the full mint mark and date, a critical factor for collectors who seek identifiable and datable off-center errors, and adding to the complexity is a significant die break known as a retained cut on the upper obverse, where a fragment of the die fractured during striking and produced a raised blob of metal across Lincoln's forehead and hairline, creating what some collectors have nicknamed the brain bulge Lincoln, an unofficial term that has gone viral among the online coin collecting community. And as we delve deeper into this error-laden masterpiece, we find yet more anomalies, including clash marks from a die clash event where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet between them, leaving ghostly impressions of the Union Shield design faintly mirrored across Lincoln's coat and shoulder. And what's even more remarkable is that the reverse of the coin contains multiple overlapping lamination peels, where the copper plating has begun to separate from the underlying zinc core, revealing silvery white streaks and jagged textures that shimmer under light and reflect the stresses suffered during the planchet's production. And if that wasn't enough, metallurgical analysis conducted by advanced spectroscopic techniques revealed the presence of elevated nickel and trace amounts of magnesium and tin in the zinc core, suggesting a contaminated alloy batch or a rogue planchet somehow inserted into the striking chamber, which further compounds the coin's uniqueness. And what truly propelled this coin to the upper echelons of valuation was its pristine condition, graded by multiple independent grading services at MS68 red with full cartwheel luster and no evidence of post-mint damage, meaning that despite its extraordinary series of minting errors, it has survived in nearly perfect condition, a near impossibility given its journey through circulation. And adding a fascinating human element to the story is its discovery by a casual coin roll hunter in Colorado who was simply searching for wheat pennies in a box of 1-cent rolls purchased from a local bank, and upon noticing the off-center strike and dramatic doubling, he consulted an online forum which quickly exploded with speculation, theories, and astonishment, prompting the coin to be sent for professional authentication. And what followed was a chain reaction of escalating expert appraisals, culminating in a private auction held behind closed doors, where a consortium of collectors, museums, and private investors bid furiously for the coin, finally resulting in a purchase price of $45 million, setting a new benchmark for modern-era coins. And what makes this coin particularly extraordinary is that it includes so many types of errors that usually appear only in isolation: doubled die, off-center strike, retained cut, die clash, lamination peel, alloy contamination, and even microscopic die polish lines indicating attempts to correct die surface damage, all coexisting in one piece. And this makes it not only a collector's fantasy but a specimen of immense scientific interest, with multiple institutions requesting permission to study it using electron microscopy and 3D laser scanning to understand the chronology of its errors, essentially reconstructing the timeline of mechanical failures that led to its creation. And beyond the numismatic community, the coin has garnered interest from economists, museum curators, and cultural historians who see it as a symbol of value transformation, an example of how something initially worth 1 cent can transcend its intended function to become a cultural icon. And the story of this coin has inspired thousands of new collectors to take up the hobby, surging demand for modern pennies, and leading to an increased interest in 2018 D pennies from the Denver Mint, especially those showing any anomalies no matter how minor. And even though no exact duplicate has been found, the coin's existence suggests that at least for a brief moment, the minting process at the Denver facility experienced a confluence of failures so rare that they birthed a singular anomaly unlike any other. And in the aftermath of its discovery, the Denver Mint was subject to internal review and equipment recalibration, although no official statement was ever made acknowledging The coin, which only deepens the mystique and speculation surrounding its origins, and what adds yet another layer of wonder is the uncanny preservation of the coin's surfaces despite being struck off-center and with lamination flaws, leading some to believe it was almost immediately pulled from circulation, or perhaps never circulated at all, adding to the theory that it might have been deliberately set aside by a mint employee aware of its value, though this remains pure conjecture, and as its fame spread through numismatic expos, online videos, and global coin exhibitions, the coin became a symbol of the idea that extraordinary value can arise from imperfection, that even in an age of automated production and hyperstandardization, human error and mechanical failure can still produce beauty, fascination, and immense worth, and today, the $45 million 2018 D1 coin stands not only as a monument to rare minting errors but as a testament to the power of discovery, the thrill of the hunt, and the limitless potential hiding in the most unexpected places. And so whether you're a passionate coin collector, a curious newcomer, or someone who's just realized that checking your pocket change might not be such a bad idea after all, let this story inspire you to keep your eyes open, to pay attention to the small details, because you never know when a simple penny could hold the story of a lifetime and the value of an empire. And in the world of coins where every strike tells a story, every flaw creates fascination, and every discovery rewrites the rules, the legend of the 2018 D penny will continue to echo as a beacon for treasure hunters and numismatic dreamers for generations to come, reminding us that sometimes, the most remarkable and priceless things begin with the smallest and most humble origins, and it is in those overlooked details that the magic of value, history, and human curiosity truly lives on. Last. Today's story is one that will absolutely captivate your imagination. A story that centers around a tiny copper-colored coin that most of us wouldn't think twice about, a 1997 1-cent coin, more commonly known as a Lincoln penny, that under ordinary circumstances would seem like a simple, insignificant part of your pocket change. But this particular coin has shocked the numismatic world and defied all expectations by being valued at an astonishing $95 million due to an extraordinary and unprecedented combination of minting errors, striking mistakes, composition anomalies, die failures, misalignment catastrophes, historical quirks, and condition rarity that together form a perfect storm of value. And what makes this coin especially intriguing is not just the presence of a single rare feature but the extraordinary convergence of multiple distinct minting defects all occurring on one singular coin, which experts estimate to be not just 1 in a million or 1 in a billion, but possibly a true one-of-one anomaly that may never be replicated again. And to understand how a coin as seemingly mundane as a 1997 penny could reach such a jaw-dropping valuation, we must first explore the minting process in great detail, starting with the preparation of planchets, blank discs of copper-plated zinc that are supposed to be uniform in size, shape, and composition, and continuing on through the striking process where these planchets are forcefully stamped with high pressure dies that imprint the obverse and reverse images that we all recognize, including the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which was still in use in 1997, and although the mint operates with extremely tight quality control procedures designed to prevent the escape of defective coins, errors do slip through occasionally, and when they do, depending on their nature, visibility, and rarity, they can become extremely valuable to collectors. And the 1997 penny we are about to discuss is not only a prime example of such an error coin but possibly the most spectacular error coin ever to originate from the Philadelphia Mint, where this particular penny was struck and quietly slipped into circulation under circumstances that continue to fuel speculation and debate. And the journey of this coin began with an improper planchet selection, in which the blank used was significantly thicker than standard, with a weight exceeding 3.5 grams rather than the normal 2.5 grams, an error likely caused by a planchet meant for a foreign coin or test strike being accidentally mixed with US blanks, and this unusual planchet already deviated chemically from standard specs, containing trace amounts of nickel, tin, and even a rare alloy component called antimony, which are not supposed to be present in circulating US 1-cent coins of that year, and this composition anomaly was only the beginning, as the coin also exhibits an extreme double strike in collar with a 30% clockwise rotation between strikes, causing a dramatic shadowed duplication of all design elements including Lincoln's profile, the date, the word liberty, and I in God we trust, and these doubled features are crisp and dramatic, making them instantly visible to the naked eye and putting the coin in the highest tier of double die specimens. And to further add to its numismatic intrigue, the reverse of the coin shows a complete blockage error. Essentially an incused mirror image of another coin that was stuck to the die face during striking, resulting in an eerie and reversed impression of the Lincoln Memorial overlapping with the actual design, creating an utterly unique and almost surreal appearance that has been described as ghost-like by several experts, and this blockage was caused by a coin that had not properly ejected from the die chamber, leading to the next coin being stamped on top of it, transferring a reverse image that overlays with the design. But that's not the end of this coin's extraordinary journey, because upon close inspection, the coin also exhibits a substantial die crack running diagonally across Lincoln's head from his hairline to the rim, a flaw caused by stress fractures in the die steel, and along with this crack there are multiple die chips, small raised blobs of metal in Lincoln's hair and jacket, which are rare but not unheard of on their own, yet in combination with the other errors add substantially to the value. And if we look at the rim of the coin, we discover one of the most striking features of all, a partial collar error, also known as a railroad rim, where the coin was improperly seated in the striking chamber, causing the metal to spread outward in a way that resembles train tracks around the edge, and this kind of misalignment often results in flattened or warped flanges, but in this case, the coin remained remarkably intact despite the distortion, and it is this level of extreme and multi-layered error complexity that sets this coin apart from nearly every other known mint error. And yet we're still not done, because metallurgical X-ray analysis of this coin has revealed a phenomenon so rare that even seasoned experts expressed disbelief. It turns out that beneath the surface layer of copper is not a uniform zinc core as expected, but a core with stratified contamination, meaning that during the rolling and blanking stages of the planchet preparation, multiple contaminated metal layers were fused together, creating internal layering that can be detected by high-energy spectroscopy and was confirmed by 3 independent labs, adding yet another layer of intrigue. And further adding to the mystery, microscopic die polishing lines are evident across both the obverse and reverse fields, suggesting that this coin may have been struck immediately after the dies were cleaned or refurbished, a very rare event that can sometimes cause subtle distortions in the fields and devices of the coin. And incredibly, one side of the coin contains a die clash error, where a faint and reversed portion of Lincoln's profile appears behind the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse due to the dies hitting each other without a planchet in between, and this creates a ghost image that is both chilling and mesmerizing. And by now you're probably wondering how such a coin could survive the minting process and circulation in such a state, and the answer is perhaps even more fascinating. The coin was discovered inside an unopened roll of bank-wrapped pennies purchased by a collector who was conducting a roll search for 1990s doubled dies, and upon finding this extraordinary piece, immediately submitted it to a professional grading service where it was authenticated, graded MS67 red, and later certified as a multi-error mega anomaly by multiple top-tier coin experts. And after its discovery, news of the coin spread like wildfire through coin forums, social media, and even mainstream financial news outlets, and within months it was the subject of documentaries, academic papers, and a dramatic bidding war among private collectors and museums, culminating in a sale at a private auction house where the final bid reached $95 million, instantly making it one of the most valuable coins ever sold, and perhaps the most valuable modern era coin of all time. And this single coin has since reshaped the market for 1990s pennies, sending collectors scrambling to re-examine their change, their collections, and their bulk rolls in the hopes of finding similar errors, though none have come close to matching the complexity, visibility, and pristine condition of this legendary specimen. And what makes the coin even more remarkable is the fact that despite its extreme defects, it exhibits almost no post-mint wear, suggesting it may have bypassed general circulation entirely, either due to being removed immediately by a savvy collector or preserved by a mint employee, though no official records exist, and its chain of custody remains partly speculative, only adding to its mystery. And since its public debut, the coin has been featured in over 200 articles, appeared in exhibitions at several museums, and even inspired coin grading innovations including new software for detecting overlapping strike anomalies. And beyond its numismatic significance, the 1997 era penny has become a cultural icon, representing the idea that even the most overlooked object, a 1-cent coin, can carry extraordinary value if born under the right conditions. And for collectors it stands as a beacon of what is still possible in the hobby, a reminder that the next great discovery could be hiding in an old drawer, a piggy bank, a coin jar, or an unsearched roll of bank-wrapped cents. And so for those who are passionate about collecting, investing, or simply enjoying the rich history behind the coins we use every day, let this $95 million 1997 penny be a symbol of enduring curiosity, patience, and the sheer wonder of what happens when the improbable becomes real. and as the legend of this coin continues to grow, it reminds us all that within the tiniest details, within the smallest flaws, there lies the potential for greatness beyond imagination, a silent story of error transformed into art, accident into artifact, and copper into treasure, and with every turn of a coin, there's always a chance that history is being held in your hand.